How's it going, everybody? Texas Man here. I hope you guys are all having a fabulous day. Give this video a thumbs up if you guys really enjoy it. Subscribe if you guys haven't already. Also, do me the biggest favor of all, hit the bell notification button so you guys don't miss out on future videos or streams here on my channel. And in this video, we're going to be continuing on reading through my book series. We are at the final book of my book series, Stacey, the Halo War. And make sure you guys, of course, check out the overview and introduction video of this book. And with that, of course, this is part 1, and we're going to be starting on page 5, chapter 1, The Future Connection. I hope you guys enjoy the final book in my book series. Year 2033. Stacey, did you destroy it? I asked, near death. Yes, Douglas. The terror ship is blown to pieces, and the threat is over, replied Stacey. Dad, what are we going to do? The skillet has limited food and air. There must be some way to save the human race, said Henry, my 21-year-old son, returning with Jenny. You must trust in God. He will show you all his plans for your life. My purpose is complete, and now I get to meet him. Take the skillet and travel outer space. He will provide a new planet to live on, I said. How can I trust God if he's going to allow you to die? Asked Henry. You'll find a way. Your actions will either win ourselves a new home or doom us to extinction, I replied. I will trust in him, and when I find our new home, I will name it New Earth, said Henry. Henry, take good care of your girlfriend Jenny, I said. I will make sure that he does, stated my wife, Stacey. My time has come. I love you all, I said, with my dying breath. As my pale body slowly shut down the last of my vital organs, the thumping sound of my heartbeat began to sound very, very faint. I could no longer move my body, and my brown eyes became enraged with a fiery sensation. Soon after, my eyelids fluttered, and seconds later, they sealed shut forever. Stacey, Henry, and Jenny all felt miserable for my passing. Tears ran down their faces while everyone was in a gloomy mood at the loss of a great man, father, husband, and leader. Jenny, you can fly this ship, asked Stacey. Yes, replied Jenny. Then get us off of this planet and let's do as my husband said to do, said Stacey. The group of 3 strapped themselves into a seat, and they left the planet Terra. Chapter 2. Secret Mission. 8 years earlier, 2025, 3 months after Darko's death. As I, Douglas Armstrong, drove my lime green with black stripe, and here we go. As I, Douglas Armstrong, drove my lime green with black stripes on the roof Camaro into a security checkpoint, my wife Stacey, my son Henry, and my daughter Amy all had amazed faces at the sight of the White House. I showed the security guards our passes while bomb squads were looking for, well, bombs. They used both metal detectors and dogs, trained in the search of bombs, yet were no trouble. Excuse me. The security waved us through the gate as it quickly opened and drove to the entrance door. I parked the vehicle and my entire family followed me out of the car, only to be greeted by more security. Stand down, said a familiar voice. We looked to see the president talking to the agents with metal detectors about searching us for weapons or bombs, and informed them that it was unnecessary. Good to see you, Mr. President, I said. You too, Mr. Armstrong, but please just call me John, replied the president. Then just call me Douglas, I replied. President Cooper, is it an honor to meet you in person, said Amy. Yes, it is. Much better than on the television screen, I hope, said John, in a humorous tone. Yes, however, shall we get down to business? Asked Stacey. Your wife is very blunt, isn't she? Said John. At times, I replied. Follow me. We have much to discuss, said John. The president and my family walked through the building where security seemed to be the only people inside. Where are the tours? Asked Amy. They're not any plan for another 3 months, replied John. Must be getting boring with the silence, said Henry. No, it actually doesn't, now that you mention it. With all the paperwork I go through and meetings I attend, it doesn't really change all that much, said John. A few seconds later, the traveling group of 5 arrived at a door. Please have your children wait outside with my guards, said John. Of course, we understand, I said. Henry and Amy sat down on a nearby bench, while John, Stacey, and I walked through the open door. The agent that opened it shut it behind me and kept a closer eye on my children. "Take a seat," said John, sitting down in the president's chair. "Thank you," replied Stacey. "So I understand that you have found data stating the location of something very secret," said John. "That would be true," said Stacey. "Good. Please talk," said John. "Before we start, I just wanted to say thanks for helping my parents clean up the mess with the Darko and Satan deal in Roseville, Michigan," I said. "You're welcome, and I'm sorry they died, along with Phil and Sarah Abbey, which I'm sure they helped you collect this information," said John. "Thanks. Anyway, 1 week after the Darko incident, I left my dentist job and traveled the world with my wife, children, parents, and friends. Together we explored and studied ancient ruins. During our 3-month trip, my parents and friends died in an unexpected cave collapse in Brazil, and later we found the ancient culture that lived in those caves had similar paintings to the ones on the other side of the world in parts of China, South Korea, and even Madagascar," I said. "We have come to the conclusion Earth was visited by aliens all over the globe, and the people left clues where to locate them," said Stacey. "We have found a set of coordinates for a planet in space from Brazil, and it was written around 44 AD, I said. What do you want for this information?" asked John. $2 billion wired to my account within 24 hours, and another $2 billion if you find aliens and/or alien technology on the planet, I said. "Done," replied John. "I'm happy you agree," said Stacey. "What do you think the map will lead us to?" asked President Cooper. It's not just a map, but an invitation," replied Stacey. "From whom?" asked John. "That is for you and whoever you send to explore the planet to find out. Our ancestors left us clues so one day we would meet the visitors again, but on their planet," I said. "What if the clues weren't clues, but instead warnings not to visit the planet?" asked John. "It's your choice," said Stacey, giving John the coordinates written on paper. "I'll use the data and send someone to explore." "Thank you," said the president. My family left the White House and returned home in Dallas, Texas, with a lot of money to enjoy. Once my family and I left, President Cooper locked the door, and 2 other people entered the Noble office silently. "I understand that you wanted this meeting private," said the man in a tuxedo with brown hair and eyes, along with white skin. "Yes, that is correct, Mr. Locke," said John, the white-skinned president with brown eyes and white hair. "Please just call me Andrew," said the agent-like man, carrying a somewhat concealed firearm. "This secret mission has many details only you and your daughter must know of completely," said John. "Of course. My daughter Jennifer and I will complete the mission and leave out all unnecessary details to my bosses," said Andrew. "Good. If NASA, the FBI, the CIA, or even the entire world learns of this, we will be publicly humiliated and charged for acting against the goodness of America and its people," said the president. "What's the mission?" asked Jennifer, the adorable Cinderella with blonde hair and blue eyes. "Jenny, your father has command of a spaceship called the Skillet. I want you and your father to take this piece of paper and travel to the coordinates that are written on it. You are to locate what might be a planet, explore the planet, and report all collected information to me, and only me," said the president. "How much are you paying us?" asked Andrew. "To do your job as a captain of a NASA spaceship and an American citizen?" asked John, in a rude tone. "No, not for that. I want money so that I won't sell you out before I leave Earth," replied Andrew, in a furious tone. The president paused to think and realized Mr. Locke was a smart man. "How much do you want, Mr. Locke?" asked John. 10 billion American dollars. I'm sure that with the country no longer in debt and has finally learned to save and not overspend, that there will be enough," said Andrew, utilizing his research hours before the meeting. "I'll wire the money once you leave," replied John. Andrew and Jenny left, received notice the wired funds would soon come on their phones, gathered the other crew members of the Skillet, and left Earth. Eventually, the crew arrived at the green lighted area, with a nearby planet far off in the distance, rotating the desired planet to be explored. "Pilot, take us to that planet. As captain, I have decided to call it Terra," said Andrew. Soon after landing, the crew explored a nearby compound and a machine in the form of a walk-through ring. "I wonder what this does," asked Jenny at a control panel inside of a blast-shielded booth. Jenny pressed a button on the panel while her father was standing in the middle of the ring. Suddenly, the ring began to spin and turn green. "Dad, run!" yelled Jenny, trying to shut down the machine. Suddenly, a blast of lightning blasted out of the ring. Chapter 3. Meeting Andrew. Year 2030. 5 years later. "Mr. President, we have returned," said Andrew, in the Noble office with his daughter Jenny. What should have taken 3 years to research the coordinates, explore, and report back took you and the Skillet crew 5 years instead, said John. "Yes, our mission involving the planet we found, called Terra, took an extra 2 years because of a threat," replied Andrew, actually lying about what took place during the past 2 years. "What threat?" asked John. "We found an alien race known as the Halos, and we're dodging their attacks and trying to not attract them to Earth," answered Andrew. Suddenly, 6 agents, fully armed with MP5 machine guns, pistols, and grenades, swarmed the Noble office. They quickly searched the room, while having Andrew and Jenny held at gunpoint. "Mr. President, we have a situation. Deep space radar has detected several unknown ships headed for Earth at intense speeds," said the head agent. John, Andrew, and Jenny looked at each other and realized the Halo army followed the Skillet to Earth. "Andrew, this is your mess and you need to fix it," said John. "I need to pick a new crew. With only me and Jenny making it off of Terra because of the Halos, we need new crew members of importance and with the ability to survive," said Andrew. "What are you saying?" asked Jenny. "Earth will not repel the Halo invasion forever. The war will be over before it begins," said Andrew. "What do we do?" asked John. "I'm selecting you, my daughter, the family of 4 that provided the coordinates of Terra, and 193 other people for my ship crew. We need to leave Earth before it is too late," said Andrew. What about everyone else on Earth?" asked the president. "Have NASA get what ships they have to get as many people as they can on board those ships. Everybody left behind will have to survive the Halo War on their own," said Andrew. "That is not fair to those left behind," yelled President Cooper. "Mr. President, Mr. Locke here is right. We must get you on the Skillet and off of Earth," said the head agent. "Why does the Armstrong family need to come on the Skillet?" asked John. "They might help us find a way to win this war. They discovered the Halo home world, so perhaps they can discover a way to end them once and for all," said Andrew, with a lie and a smile, easily seen by the head agent. "Okay, I'll go ahead with your plan," said John. Quickly, the president sent his head agent of security down to Dallas, Texas, on a private jet to collect me and my family. Stacey and I agreed to the agent's purpose for the mission after learning of the incoming invasion. We dashed out of the house with nothing but the clothes and shoes on us and sat down in the black Jeep. "My name is Paul Cullis," said the head agent, driving the Jeep. "You mean you're the famous General Paul Cullis that led the American campaign against the Russian terrorist organization that planned to bomb America, yet we won?" asked Amy, my sweet 18-year-old daughter. "Yes. Right now, I'm just the president's head security agent," replied Paul. "Why?" asked Henry, my twin son. "Better than leading troops into battle and watching in person on the battlefield them die by the hundreds," replied Paul, remembering past events in his own mind. Paul drove the Jeep to the airport, and on the jet back to New York, I questioned the agent. "Why did we get picked?" I asked. "Mr. Andrew Locke and his daughter Jenny were the only survivors from exploring the coordinates you gave the president. They found a planet now called Terra, where Halos killed the crew of the ship called the Skillet. Andrew, the Skillet's captain, thinks you and your family might find a way to end the Halo race and win the war, said Paul. How do you think we will do that? I asked. I guess you can ask him yourself if you like, replied Paul. Hours later, the jet landed in an underground base with people boarding a gigantic ship with its name on the hull, the Skillet. Why so few people? Asked Stacey, leaving the jet last. We are only able to house 200 people because of space on board my ship, said a man. My family and I looked behind us to see a man in a captain uniform. Welcome, Armstrong family. My name is Andrew Locke, captain of the Skillet, said the man, shaking my hand with a strange grin. Chapter 4. Fleeing Earth. After we met Andrew, he introduced us to his sweet 19-year-old daughter, Jenny, which looked like Stacey at that age. As soon as Henry saw Jenny for the first time, his heart pounced out of his chest and began to fall in love with her. Everyone boarded the Skillet while talking among each other. Once on the bridge, Andrew, Jenny, Stacey, Amy, Henry, Paul, and I recognized the President, John Cooper, was in the ship. Good to see you again, said John. Sorry I wasn't under better circumstances, I replied. John, the Halo Army will be here in 10 minutes. We need to leave now, said Paul. Agreed, I said, looking at a monitor and seeing the incoming ships. Seconds later, the hangar doors opened. The Skillet carefully moved upwards and out of the hangar and headed into space. Where are we going to go? I asked Andrew. I don't know yet, said Andrew. What do you mean? You mean you have no plan once we are away from Earth? What is the point of fleeing if there's nowhere to go? I asked. Douglas, shut up this moment. Right now we need to focus on leaving Earth and getting past the Halo blockade. Then we'll worry about where to go after that, stated Andrew in a firm tone. Hey, both of you stop this. We have incoming, said Stacey. Everyone on the command bridge looked to see 10 missiles coming at them. Open fire, ordered Andrew, captain of the Skillet. Cannons from the Skillet targeted the missiles, fired, and destroyed them. The dust remains floated all around the Skillet and prevented the Halo ships from seeing the Skillet on radar. That was too close, stated Stacey. Why are they not continuing to fire? Asked Jenny. Because they can't see us. The explosion must have done something to their radar, said Andrew. The group on the bridge watched as the Halo fleet headed for Earth while ignoring the Skillet. Once the enemy fleet was no longer in range of the Skillet, Andrew ordered the crew to continue the ship farther into space. Seconds later, a droid with one red eye, a mouth to talk, 2 legs with built-in jetpacks, and 2 arms with built-in machine guns floated in front of the bridge's shielded glass window. What's that? Asked Amy. It's a Halo droid. Must have been in one of the missiles that ejected before they were destroyed, said Andrew. The droid smashed the window, and 10 crew members were sucked out while the invader locked its feet inside of the bridge. The emergency window shut the gap just before everyone else was sucked out, while the droid looked around as if it was looking for someone. Where is Douglas Armstrong? Asked the droid. Here, I replied, next to Andrew, with a sticky grenade prepared to use. The droid used its machine gun arms, opened fire, but everyone ducked behind cover. Andrew tossed the sticky grenade out, and it stuck to the droid's chest. 2 seconds later, the threat was no more. Why did the droid want me dead? I asked. I have no idea, replied Andrew, lying to me. I bet if we traveled to Terra, we would find out, I said. Andrew and Jenny smiled at my statement, while the Skillet headed into the unknown, while Earth was taken over by the Halos. Deep space scans showed the millions of humans left behind were dead within 3 days after the invasion. That's going to do it for me, guys. This has been part 1. Look forward to part 2 coming out very soon. You guys all have an amazing day. I'll see you guys in the next video or stream, whether it be here on the Texas Man channel or Twitch at Douglas447. Have a good one, guys.